Tennessee goes to Arkansas as a 13.5-point favorite. The over-under in this game, 59.5. The offense for Arkansas has been improved under Bobby Petrino. Is it enough to make this a game? Chris, what's your feel of this one going in?
Yeah, I watched a lot of the A&M Arkansas game last week, and it kind of felt like Arkansas would be able to pull that out, and then they just couldn't, and that comes after a couple weeks after giving a game away at Oklahoma State. It feels like this team should be undefeated at this point. Like the opportunities have been there. The rush defense has been real solid. As much as we talk about Bobby Petrino, Taylen Green in the offense, the defense has been pretty good. And so I want to know, like, can they make Tennessee one-dimensional? Because we always say this about Tennessee. You can stop the run without loading up the box. That's how you slow down this offense. It makes it really difficult when they're only one-dimensional. That is what Arkansas is going to have to be able to do in this game.
The issue is I don't know that you can do that schematically. I think the one thing that I've seen a lot of teams do against this offense is make your keys lie to you. There's so much in this offense that's built around pre-snap reads and saying, hey, well, there's 6-7 guys in the box, so we got to throw it. You snap the ball, and then everybody gets out of the box, and you free it up, and now all of a sudden you're dropping 7, you're dropping 8. You've allowed those keys to lie to them, and now you're trying to throw against a loaded secondary. Or the opposite, you show 5, and then you blitz guys, bring guys in from – you try to give their keys to lie to them. So that – as I think what Arkansas will probably have to try to do, because the only thing that really slows this offense down is if you just got beasts in the middle. If you just have Georgia's defensive line, Alabama's defensive line, which Arkansas does not have. They have some pieces. Landon Jackson, nice player for them. But I'm really interested. I think Arkansas will be able to score to at least keep this competitive. Last year, we've met a lot of the Dan Enos situation last year where they had to make a midseason coordinator change. They were 116th last year in offensive yards per play. They're up to 34th this year. I really thought, as much as crazy as the Petrino situation was off the field, I think I said this when they made it in January. I was like, I get that it's crazy, but I think from a football perspective, it's probably going to work, because I think Sam Pittman has the personality that's basically the opposite of Jimbo, where he's going to be hands off and say, hey, do what you got to do. And that was not what we saw at Texas A&M last year. But Taylen Green, he's been just okay as a passer, but Texas A&M locked his legs down last week. He's been averaging 80 yards a game on the ground. I think he was second nationally among quarterbacks in rush yards. He had 6 against Texas A&M last year. I think that will be a huge talking point for Tennessee's defense. On the other side, we've talked a lot about Tennessee's receivers. Damien, one of your dogs of the week.
Dog time.
A legitimate dog. Now, I will say, we got to be careful using the term dog when we're talking about a Tennessee receiver, because the king dog has always been Juwan Jennings for Tennessee and the that whole situation. So it's a Dame's dog here, but does Brew McCoy, is he got enough dog in him to earn that title?
And I think he does. I think he could be the biggest weapon in this Tennessee wide receiver room. And what makes me think that is because every time I watch his tape, every time I see him on the field, he's always open. He's never really having to make contested catches because he's always got 3 or 4 yards of separation from the DB. And what causes that? It's because he runs really, really good, crisp, clean routes, whether they're slants, whether they're digs, whether they're comebacks, 15-yard outs, 15-yard ends. I mean, he's always just running good, crisp, clean routes. He doesn't give away his routes. They always talk about, which granted, I never played receiver, but I always heard him make every route look the same. And so he mirrors his routes really well. He always has a plan how to get open versus man versus zone. And I've even seen him with some really, really, really good ball skills down the field. So when you're open, whenever you can create separation, whenever you can track the ball down the field, having a quarterback like Nico to be able to chuck it down the field to you, that makes him really, really complete. So like I said, I think he can be the best weapon in this room, and he can be the best target for Nico, especially in a game like this, if they do make Tennessee one-dimensional.
Yeah, he had that crazy catch against
give us the background on Brew McCoy, by the way. For people who don't know, it is a pretty wild path to get to this point.
One of the best stories in college football. He was, top 5 in his class. Ping-ponged around USC and Texas before he even played a snap. Comes in as an early enrolling freshman, shows up at USC, and then goes to Texas, and then bounces back to USC, and then eventually leaves USC. Didn't really do anything there. And it was, I don't want to bring the B word up, but it was looking busty very early on. It was like,
not a college bust.
Yeah, it's like this is not what you want to see from a 5-star. Shows up to Tennessee, and you're like, well, this is a pretty good spot for him. Obviously, it's a really good offense. This offense really does well for guys that are just like freak athletes, and you can criticize the route tree in this offense all you want, but if you're fast and you're big, things tend to work out pretty well for you in this offense. And so far, it has. And then he has a really good year, and then last year suffers a really, really gruesome broken ankle, and his season ended, and he was playing for NFL money last year, and then this year decides, obviously after the injury, hey, I want to play another year of college football. Comes back. He's had a great start to this year, and I think the best thing about him right now is that room is so loaded that you can't focus in on him. They bring in Chris Brazell from Tulane. He's had a nice year. Dante Thornton was getting all this hype in preseason. Didn't do hardly anything last year. This year, he seems to figure it out. He had that huge touchdown against Oklahoma. Squirrel White still doing his thing out of the slot. And so you can't really focus in on him. And obviously that switch release that Tennessee runs from those wide splits, it's given everybody all kinds of problems. That was how they beat Alabama in 2022 with Jalen Hyatt and with Cedric Tillman as well. Yeah. And so we're probably going to see some of that in this game. I think you're going to see them give up some big plays. They made Alan Bowman, this Arkansas secondary made Alan Bowman look pretty good. So Tennessee, much better personnel. For me, I think for Arkansas, they still have to deal with this defensive line. Tennessee does so many things well, and they got such great personnel over that you can't really talk about Tennessee without overlooking someone. And we've overlooked that defensive line that gave Oklahoma fits. So I'm taking Tennessee in the points here. I think this is a good number. I don't feel good about it, but I feel like this could be like a 41-24 type of game. I think Arkansas put some points on the board. Not enough. I don't know how competitive this game will be, but maybe I'm wrong. Damien, who do you like in this one?
I like Tennessee, and I'm taking the points too. I think they're just too big, too fast, too strong.
Chris, anybody getting into some trouble on the road? You like the Hogs here?
I think Tennessee wins this game. Like you said, the questions about Arkansas secondary, they've been giving up some big plays. I think Tennessee gets those, which we haven't seen. Like they played Oklahoma, and it was an ugly game. Turnovers, kind of low scoring. I think the offense in this game is what we expected all season. Big game from the past game.